Before being condemned by the Roman Empire, he was a man feared by Christians. His name was Saul, a zealous Pharisee who brutally persecuted Jesus' followers. He stormed into homes, dragged men and women to prison, and approved public executions. That was how he witnessed the death of Stephen, the first Christian martyr, without showing an ounce of compassion. But one single event changed everything. On the road to Damascus, Paul was struck down by a blinding light and heard a voice that would change his life forever. "Saul, why do you persecute me?" It was Jesus, the one he had been fighting against. Blinded and lost, Paul was taken to a man named Ananias, who restored his sight and revealed his new mission. Instead of persecuting Christians, he would now lead them. The same Jewish leaders who once supported him now saw him as a traitor. They tried to kill him multiple times. In Damascus, he barely escaped being lowered in a basket through the city wall. In Jerusalem, assassination plots forced him to flee. But the greatest threat was yet to come. On his missionary journeys, he founded churches across the Roman world. He endured imprisonments, shipwrecks, and persecutions. But nothing compared to what happened in Jerusalem. There, an enraged mob nearly killed him. He was accused of defiling the temple and teaching against the law of Moses. Dragged by Roman soldiers, he escaped death by a hair's breadth, but was placed in custody. And at that moment, his sentence was set in motion. Imprisoned, Paul was interrogated by governors and kings. In Caesarea, he stood before Governor Festus and King Agrippa, who listened to his defense but did not release him. Wanting to avoid being tried by the Jews, Paul made the request that would change everything: "I appeal to Caesar." As a Roman citizen, he had that right, but in doing so, he signed his own death warrant. Rome did not forgive those who challenged its authority. Paul was sent to Rome under guard, surviving a shipwreck along the way. When he finally arrived in the empire's capital, he was placed under house arrest, still able to preach. But then, something terrible happened. In 64 AD, a devastating fire destroyed much of Rome. The people blamed Nero, but the emperor needed a scapegoat, and he found one: the Christians. What followed was one of the cruelest persecutions in history. Christians were burned alive, thrown to wild beasts, and crucified. And as one of the most influential figures in the movement, Paul became an inevitable target. His house arrest ended, and he was thrown into one of the darkest places in Rome, the Mamertine prison. There he was isolated, betrayed, and abandoned by many of his former allies.